All right, Todd and the rest of the Hyatt family wanted to give you a little update on Parker, show you how she's doing. This is sort of the nuts and bolts stuff of Parker's training, showing you how we get her to retrieve properly and make it a really finished, polished mechanic. So this process called force fetch is sort of really the heart and soul of pretty much all typical gun dog programs, and I wanted to show you a little bit about how it works. So at the beginning I showed you me holding her holding my hand and then carrying my hand. We did that for several days, and Parker seemed to go along with it pretty well. Her obedience is very nice. She sits here politely. She's wanting to chew on some grass. I'm going to tolerate that. It's fine at the moment. But today what we're doing is we're introducing the force fetch stick. So this stick is nothing more than just a piece of PVC pipe with a couple pieces of boards on the end. It is a completely foreign object to the dog, and it is something that will be used for this process and this process only, and then we put it away. We do that because we want the dog, if there's any hard feelings towards this process, we want it to be towards the, not towards the object. So we use an object that they're not going to see again. So we'll do this, we'll get her going through this whole process cleanly with the stick, and then we'll switch to bumpers and then Dawkins, and then we'll do it, of course, with real birds. So the name of the game here, what I want to see with this process is slow, steady progress. That is what I'm really looking for. Slow and steady wins this race. A lot of times when we see dogs hop, skip, and jump through it, they miss steps and it gets sloppy later on. But if we're seeing consistent progress, it means the dog is learning, and it is much more likely for it to be secure at the end. So slow and steady is what we want, and Parker is doing a very nice job of this. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to transition away from me making her hold an object. With my hand, I'm forcing her to hold it. Now what I'm going to do is I want her to do the job of holding it. I want her to understand that I want her to hold it. Now, it's also important to remember, we are done asking Parker to do things. We're at the phase in her training where we are telling her she's going to do them. Now, we're going to do that as positive as we can, but we are not going to let her fail at this point. I'm not going to give her the opportunity to drop it. I'm not going to give her the opportunity to spit it out. I'm going to make her be successful. And generally, she does quite well with this. But let me show you what that means. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here to her level. We do all of this on the ground right here in front of her. And one of the things that's important with this is we want to keep the dog's spirit up. Parker is, she's a licker. She likes to lick and give kisses. It's perfectly fine through this process. I'm usually quite tolerant of that. Some dogs do it, some don't. But what I want to see is I want to see a dog that is not sulking. We don't want to see one that's pouting. We don't want to see one who's, obviously upset. We want to see a dog who is in good spirits, and that's important. If we see that change, we need to stop because we do not want to crush the dog's spirit. So what we're going to do is today we're just taking the bumper, or the stick, excuse me. I'm going to take my left hand, go over the top of her snout, pry her mouth open slightly, and slide the stick in and get her lips out of the way. Now, at this moment, I'm not holding it with her. She is doing all the holding. I want to make sure that I can talk to her. Good girl. Good. We tell a nice soothing thing. I want to touch her. I want to pet especially her chest underneath her. Good. And then we're going to use, nope. Then we're going to use that command that we've been teaching her all week, which is give. Good girl. And I try to say it the same way each time, with that high-pitched give sound, so that she knows that I mean hand it here. Now, she actually tried to drop there just a little bit early because I was rambling, but we did not let her do that. Right? So we're doing several reps of this. Go over the top, put in the stick. Good girl. And I'm not giving her a specific command here. We're not saying any word yet for this command. Give. Good girl. And she's actually got a good grip. When I go in to pull the stick out, there's some resistance, which is a very, very, very good sign. We want her to have resistance as if she's got a grip on it. Okay? So all in all, I'm very happy with Parker. She's holding very well. That's quite nice. Now the next thing we need to do, of course, we need the dog to move with the stick in her mouth. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the stick back in her mouth, and this time I'm going to help her because a lot of dogs fail this step initially. girl. And we're gonna have her move. Okay. Come on. Heel. Sit. Good girl. Good. Now, I'm positioning myself so that I am beside her. Give in the heel position. So this is how we teach the dog. You're gonna come into heel, and you're gonna sit down, and then I'm gonna tell you to give it to me, all right? So we're gonna practice that literally. We will do this at least 1,000 reps, and I'm not exaggerating. We'll do this at least 1,000 times. Sit before she's done with this process, because we want that mechanism of come into heel, sit down, and hold the object until I give you the give command. We want that to be so ingrained that she can't do it any other way. So that's the critical part of that polished mechanism. So I'm going to come over the top, put in the stick. Good girl. She's got a nice grip. And we're going to say heel. Good girl. Heel. Sit. Very good. Good girl. I talk, I touch. Good girl. I can touch the stick. I can even tap the stick. Give. And then we can use that give command. We want to understand it is the give command that means let go of it. Now, Parker is off to a great start. This process is not particularly sexy. It's not really exciting video to watch, but it's very technical, and it's the little steps along the way that really polish that retrieving work. The good news is Parker does all the other stuff amazing. She'll chase, she'll pick it up. This is how we polish that little mechanism to get you a nice finished product on a gun dog. Parker's doing great. We're off to a good start.